All right, SML. It is just about draft day. What are we less than no, we're a little more than 24 hours away. I guess we're 30 hours, something like that. I'm not going to math real good, but we're going to try SML what if take 2, and this time I got Dan with me. Dan, what's going on?
Not much, not much. Just waiting for this drama to unfold. I feel like we're act of Congress here, trying to figure out who the House Speaker is and all these different secret votes and things happening. It's kind of wild. It's a fun day in the SML.
It really is. I think that might be probably the closest analogy to what's going on, and maybe that's an easier choice than some of the guys are having right now. I've got my phone up just in case we have any breaking news. We just had Colt. He locked in as the Steelers, so um, try and keep it updated as best we can for this mock since the last one just had to throw it out the window. Um, and I guess we can talk about we've got Colt locked in, Coop locked in, Field, KJ Grams, and Two Step. Is there anybody else that you think is gonna be locked in that you just want to call right now? We don't even need to mock them.
I think yeah. Did you say two step? Because he's not officially on there, but we think
Yeah,
he is.
Two Step isn't official yet, but I marked him down as staying. There's no way
Right.
he's going from the Raiders to the last pick.
I think we can also. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say 75% sure. Let's see
I
who
forgot
is
one
on the
too.
list.
Gouda is
Well, see, I
locked in.
think Paulie, Tiny, and Biz are the next three that are probably gonna come in. But I can't say that for 100%. But I think they're most likely to opt out of the draft and keep their teams.
Yeah, I locked in Gouda. I forgot he was also locked in. Um, yeah, it's gonna make this draft a little interesting, and I think as we get closer, I think we're gonna see probably more uh, opt in.
Yep.
I know Clink has said he's definitely drafting. Um, Fig is
Yep.
on the fence. Really, I don't see
Yeah,
any
I think
reason RB
if
shouldn't.
we even just take a few minutes, not even talk about the draft, but even kind of guys to keep an eye on.
Yeah,
I think what you're saying is I think you got to keep on Monty, got to keep an eye on RD, you got to keep an eye on even maybe Dump. Those kind of are three guys that have pretty much indicated they're going to opt into the draft, but
yeah,
they might change their mind. So I think that'll be interesting over the next few hours.
yeah. I think the big ones. I kind of agree. I don't think Fig opting in or out matters. The Patriots are going to be there for him. I think. I think the big ones, like you said, Monty. I think Noel is a big one. What he decides to do there.
Yeah.
I know he had a really good Browns team. They just re-signed Jack Conklin to an even bigger deal, and I just used them this morning trying to see what their re-signs would be. 1.3 million for your re-signs in the first offseason. Um, not
Okay.
not a lot of flexibility, and you got some free agents that you need to try and re-sign. And so I don't think he wants to be cap strapped like that again. But we saw Colt stick with the Steelers. Maybe we see Noel stay with him. Um,
Yeah, that was D Muse's thought as well with the Saints. They're really a cap strap team. Really makes the first season or two kind of difficult. So
yeah,
I think that's a good point you're bringing up.
yeah. And then I spent last cycle. We blipped. I took the Browns again and spent 2 seasons redoing everything I had just done. I think if these guys that are redoing now, maybe a lot of them don't spend a lot of time other than they load up play. They probably didn't know who half of them had on their rosters anyway, so it may not be as bad. But if you even
Yeah.
halfway pay attention, you're going to get really burnt out doing the same thing over again. So I would think we're going to see a lot of people redrafting, but um, clearly we've seen quite a few opt out of the draft, and we'll see if that continues as the day goes on. But let's focus on the draft now. Um, and I've got the Excel sheet up. We've got who we think is opting out or who's confirmed opt out, and then we've got the available teams. And let's just start right at the top with Prime. Do you think he goes back to the Colts?
Yeah, that's this is it feels like the Groundhog Day every time we do a draft. It's
Yeah,
will Prime take the Colts? He always teases the best team out there. I would say though, out of all the drafts, this is probably the one most likely that he would take a better team
yeah,
because of the shortened cycle and the fact that he has not won a Super Bowl. I believe now close to what 8 or 9 seasons.
yeah.
Do you
It's
know
been a
that?
while.
What was it? I didn't hear that.
No, I said it's been a while. I don't know
It's
the
been a while,
exact
yeah.
number. Yeah.
Yeah, so, Meats will give us the exact number on that. So, I could see him taking a good team. So far the Chargers could be there, the Bengals are there, the Bills are there, even the Niners are there. I could see him taking one of those 3 teams. I'm gonna say, I like the Bills because of Josh Allen. I think he might just wanna see how many yards he can sling it.
All right. So you're gonna say Bills. And you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna actually let's. I'm gonna put both of ours up here. That way we can kind of keep track. And so we're
Okay.
gonna we're gonna just live edit this right here while we're recording, and that way we can
We're all
keep
going to
track.
judge your Excel skills right
That's
now.
right. Yeah, don't judge my Excel skills. I'm just kind of winging it as I go. But you got them going to the Bills.
Yeah, I mean it's just a wild card, just because I think he wants to have some fun. I think he was looking for QB last year, and even though I don't think he needs a good QB, I think he's a good passer without it. I think he just wants to have some fun.
Yeah, I could see that. And I'm gonna real quick. I'm assuming we have the same guys for the opt-ins since they're pretty much locked. Okay. All right. So you said Bills. That's gonna be for you. I've actually got Prime. Now he obviously cryptic quotes. Um, that's that's his thing. He likes to put little tweets out there, kind of giving you ideas of what he may not do. But one of the ones that he did early on when we talked about the redraft, he said unfinished business, and I think he meant it for people to think he meant he was going back to the Colts. I think he's going to go with the Chiefs. He got a lot of flack for not winning with the Chiefs, and I think with the way the game plays this year with the quarterbacks and the free form, I think he would really like to have Mahomes. I've got him taking the Chiefs.
Yeah, that's a good one. I didn't quite think of the Chiefs, but I think you might be onto something there.
I think we both kind of hit it though that he's going to take a better team. Now he's got less time with the Colts to win. I think he's gonna go to a team where he thinks he can win multiple Simbardis. All right, so then we've got Woods next. I think Woods, for me, I think he's going Chargers. I know it's following Prime with the very next pick, but I think just being able to get another good quarterback. He's already done Josh Allen. I think now he wants to do another quarterback, one of the superstars, and I think he just goes with Justin Herbert here.
Yeah, to me, I think there's some backdoor scheming going on right now.
Okay.
And I think Woods is going to go to the San Francisco 49ers.
Okay.
And you'll see in a little bit why I think he'll go there. But just team wise, they're a good team. Yeah, they've got everything he likes. Defense, they've got a quarterback he doesn't have to mess with. But I got Woods going to the Niners.
Okay. So that's gonna bring us to me at 3, and I'll let you pick first, and then I'll tell you where I'm leaning.
Well, at first I thought you would be at the Niners, but looking the fact that KJ now has opted in, and Coop has not opted in, I think Woods likes that division. So I think you're gonna get kind of trumped by that. But
Okay.
I'm gonna give you right now the Bengals. I think that's the best team for you. Got a quarterback, got a little bit of room to play, got some things you can move in the defense, and I think after dealing with Zach Wilson, you'll want a quarterback. So I'm gonna go with the Bengals for you.
Yeah, with the way it's looking right now, I'm gonna agree on the quarterback. I'm just torn. I don't really like the defense as much, and I think if it falls this way, the Bills look like a perfect fit. So I may lean towards the Bills right now. So I'm gonna go with them.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
DW next at 4. DW
Yeah.
all cycle
Good.
was talking about how he didn't like the Bills between the cap problems and then the fact that he said they were too good and it put a spotlight on him. He didn't like that. Um, what team do you see kind of maybe being maybe different, but also a fit for him?
Oh, I think this is a no-brainer at this point. I think this is the Jets all the way. I think that fits everything he wants. They got a great running back. He can just run the ball right up the gut. Got a young defense that can develop. He had him for 2 seasons, but didn't get a full cycle with him. So I think DW to the Jets is a no-brainer right here.
See, I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to go with a team he's had before, but I think he goes Commanders over the Jets.
Okay.
Same thing. I think he likes the defense, but I think he sees that Commanders team and they have a little bit better defense, especially on that front four. So I'm going to give him the Commanders. Then we've got Mike. Now, in this scenario, I don't have him taking KC. I've actually got him taking the Colts. Last time Prime passed on the Colts, Mike took him. I think we could see the same thing happen here.
Yeah, I like that pick. The only thing that might throw a wrench in that is he might be looking at a closed division that he could wrap up out in the NFC West if he takes the Cardinals, and he gets 3 owners that I'm sure he enjoys playing. So that might be more of a temptation than his own team, but I think it's going to be the Colts. So I'll go Colts.
Okay.
But a high percentage chance he could take the Cardinals here.
All right. Then we got Matt. Matt's coming off the Chargers. Chargers off the board on mine. They're still on the board on yours. He could go back there. I don't know. This one's tough for me, but I think he's going to go with the Packers. I think he would like having Rodgers for 1 year, and then he can go back to running the ball. But more importantly, he's got a stud defense that's young. He doesn't really even have to add much of anything to it. And then he can kind of develop the Christian Watsons, Romeo Doubs, and then Aaron Jones and Jordan Love, I guess, could be his quarterback. He went with Dwayne Haskins. Jordan Love can't be any worse.
Yeah, I think that's a really strong pick. I'm actually going to agree with you on there. I'm going to put him at the Packers. I don't think he wants the Chargers. Again, I think he got a taste a little bit of that Super Bowl run, and he wants it again, but he doesn't also want to just take the best of the best. So I think he takes the Packers.
Yeah, I think they'd be a good team for him. Only thing I wonder is, I mean, you see Meat sitting there at 15 or 16. I wonder if he would actually just back out and hold on to the Packers here, but he hasn't really said one way or another what he's doing.
Yeah, we did mention Meats earlier in the kind of guys to watch. Yeah, I think he's one of the top guys to watch as well too, because good team, middle of the pick. He might not think he can get that quality of a team.
No. Next up is Fins. I think Fins actually would go to the Eagles. This might be a little off the wall, but I don't think he wants or needs a great quarterback. And I think the Eagles have what he would really like, and that's a lot of cap flexibility. They're loaded everywhere. And I think he can make do with Jalen Hurts, but he's got the 2 first-round picks, and I think Fins really likes the draft and the rookies and bringing them along.
You got Fins. I have Fins to the Chargers here in my mock because no one's taken them, and Fins wants the best team available. Even though Prime's there, I think he just wants to play with a good team.
Okay. That brings you up next, and I know we've talked about teams and kind of gone back and forth. Obviously, you already were the 49ers. I don't think you go back there. You were the Falcons last cycle, so I don't think you go there. I think you'll actually end up with the Jets. I know you said NFC, but you also talked about swapping 49ers and Jets. I think maybe you like what you can do with the Jets, and I'll give you that team. Now you tell me why I'm wrong.
Because, Jets are a good team. They kind of got some of the things I really like. So there definitely could be an option. Unfortunately, I think I am locked in this cycle. I don't know. For some reason, just have a mindset to be on the NFC side. Cardinals are an option for me. But looking the fact that KJ and Coop both stayed in that division, I really want to just change things up. It kind of gets a little stale when you play the same guys over and over again. So probably wouldn't go there. I think really at this point, I think the Panthers could be a good spot for me. So
okay.
Put me down for the Panthers. Young quarterback, got a pass rusher, got good secondary. Running back, I can find one. I'm not too worried about that. But Panthers might be a team that I would try out.
All right. So in this scenario, NYT is left, and I still have the Cardinals and 49ers on the board in a division that has KJ and Coop. There's no way that NYT passes on the 49ers here.
Yeah, I think you're right there. I think in my mock, this is what I think was happening with him and Woods. and I think he likes the Eagles at this pick. I think the Eagles are falling for sure, but he looks at that division. He's going to take the Cardinals. He had some fun with them 2 cycles ago, and I think he's going to go back to the Cardinals, and he's going to enjoy that division.
Okay. Then next up is Faz, and to me, Faz has talked about this plenty of times. He said he wants the Dolphins, and with them on the board, I've got him going to the Dolphins.
Yep, and I think there's still a sense where he wants to have some fun with Prime, and Prime's the Bills, and the Dolphins are there. I think that's a great pick. Another surprise at this point, though, is the Eagles are still on the board, so that could be an option. But I think he wants still to kind of go at it with Prime. So I think Prime and Faz in the AFC East.
Yeah, I could see that. And now we've got Bean. Bean coming from the Bengals, who had Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, Joe Mixon, all the weapons on offense. None of these teams really sitting quite the same as the Bengals, except the Bengals that are sitting there, but I don't think he wants to go back. And I think he ends up taking the Jaguars in this situation. I think the Jaguars, similar to the Bengals, not quite as developed. ETN, not exactly the same back as Mixon, but you've got some decent receivers. You've got a nice tight end in Ingram, and then you've got Trevor Lawrence to maybe be somewhat like Burrow, and your secondary is fast. And I think he might like the Jaguars.
Yeah, that's a good pick for Bean. I can see Bean at this point taking the Commanders. I could see Bean also looking, in the NFC, because I don't think he wants anything to do with Prime or Fields.
That
I think
makes
he's
sense.
staying out of the AFC. I just think he looks at the best team available, and right now on my mock is the Eagles. So even though he looks at the Commanders, I think he's going to go Eagles here.
Okay. All right, so QP's up next, and with the Chargers gone, who do you think he takes?
QP was talking about just wanting to be in the AFC, just a little change of scenery as well. I think he looks around again, looks at what's the best team for him, and in my mock, I got the Jags for him. Just a young QB to develop, nice defense, just a lot more flexibility than I think he was frustrated with the Cards and their cap space. So I think he's taking the Jags.
Okay. QP, I think he's in this scenario with the Bengals being there. I think he's going to take the Bengals. He's going to get a good quarterback. I know he said it, I want to develop a team. I don't want a team that's already there. But I think, again, Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and Mixon, they're going to be too much to pass up for him. So I think he's going the Bengals. All right, that leaves us to Doink. And in this scenario, I've already got the Commanders. They went and disappeared. I think Doink personally probably opts out and takes the Commanders still. But if he doesn't and he's left in this spot again, I think he takes the Cardinals. Like you said, those safeties are so fast. You've got a good defense there other than your front seven, but we've seen him trade away guys that maybe most people would keep. So I think he could go with the Cardinals and all that speed at receiver.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's some things he likes there. I think he wants a quarterback. I think Murray kind of fits that role. But in my mock, Kansas City's still there, and I think he just can't pass up on that talent.
Oh yeah.
So I think he's going to go Kansas City with Mahomes. I think Doink's not having a quarterback this cycle is one thing that he regrets. So I see that.
All right. Then next up is D-Muse. Saints still there. He's so far opted out. I'm not sure if he likes anything else that's there. But I think he goes with the Giants. I think if he doesn't just stick with the Saints, I think he's going to go with the Giants. He gets Saquon Barkley, similar to Kamara, probably a little bit better. They have a nice young defense that's not bad. They're not as cap-strapped as the Saints, which I think will be the biggest kind of draw for him. And then he's got Daniel Jones at quarterback, not the strongest arm, a little bit more mobile than Mac Jones. And I think he can actually do something with Daniel Jones, and that'll be a good pick for him, I think.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think he wants a team with some flexibility, like you said. He doesn't want any cap issues. So, although the Browns will be a good fit for him, you got some serious cap issues. Commanders are still on the board, and they don't have the cap issues quite as bad, and so I think um, that's the team he's going to go with is the Commanders, which would be a really good fit for D Muse.
All right, so then we've got Coop taking the Seahawks. He's already locked in. That leaves us with Meats. And this is a scenario where I think same thing. I think Meats is going to see the board. I actually think though that he may go with the. I'm kind of torn between two teams, either the Falcons or the Panthers that I still have on my board. I think Meats will go with the Falcons though. I think he
Which
gets.
would be kind of fun because I think QB Stud really would like the Falcons. I think that's a team he's been eyeing up, so he would snake him right before
Yeah, he's
QB.
definitely brought up the Falcons. So
Yep.
if Meats is sitting here picking and he's kind of between a couple teams, I think the Falcons would be a great team. He gets a quarterback in Ritter that's young, can be developed, doesn't start too bad. He's 88 speed, so he's got some mobility. His He's not one of the paranoid guys. He's actually ideal for senses pressure. So if you believe in any of that, that's a bonus for him.
Yeah.
Kyle Pitts is unlike any other tight end in the game. You're kind of hurting at receiver, but you can figure that out as we've seen in the drafts. That's not a problem. And then the defense has a nice combination of user guys. Grady Jarrett's there. That Trey Anderson is ridiculous. And then the secondary is not that awful. You do have AJ Terrell, which is kind of like one of those unicorns that Matt talks about.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a real good pick. I think Meat's looking at this. I think the Bucks might be entertaining for him, but I think he's going to actually go to the Browns, and I think he likes to have that quarterback with a little mobility. I think Watson gives that to him. Also gives him a chance to win, and so I think Meats goes to the Browns.
All right, so that brings us to QB. I think I'm going to give him the Lions.
Yeah.
He went from a team like the Broncos that were super cap strapped to now he goes to the Lions. They have 2 first-round picks. One of them being the Rams. You already know if you're the Lions, the Rams have is KJ. There's no question who's going to take that team. And if KJ's got the Rams, you know that pick probably going to be a solid pick, especially after you've seen Doink go to the Cardinals. NYT's gone to San Francisco. Both those teams should finish ahead of KJ. Coop and KJ could battle for that 4th spot, but at least he's not making the playoffs, and you should have a decent pick. So I think QB to the Lions.
Yeah, I know. I just said QB was talking a lot about the Falcons, and that'd be the logical one. The only problem is that I am the Panthers, and QB will not go into my division. So I think he is going to actually take the Giants here, and I think he'll have just as much fun with the Giants, and he'll enjoy the division better. And as long as it's not the Broncos, I think QB will be semi-happy because he's never going to be fully happy.
Yeah. So next up I have Dump, and I still have the Browns on the board. I know they've got some cap problems, but Dump's going to be in the middle of looking for a job and moving, and so free agency and the draft, and not really. Maybe he doesn't have time for that. He sees the Browns as a chance to immediately get back to be one of the best teams in the SML. Because the roster is really good. Now, making it better, not going to be happening for a while because of the cap and the picks and all that. But I think he sees that as a team he can win with. You've already got Colt in there. You've got Field in there. And then the Bengals went to QP, which is he may not want to go up against QP with the Bengals, but looking at the list, the Browns give him the best chance to win right away.
Yeah, it's a good pick, and I think Dump would be happy with that. I think, I don't know what his feelings are about the NFC South because I think the Bucs still are the best team there for him, and so I'm going to give him the Bucs. I think he'll just want to take the most talented team. I think he likes playing against me, so I think even though it's the same division, I think new opponents will keep him entertained.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we have Clink. So Clink likes the young teams that he can build. I don't know if he wants to go with the Texans here, though, because right now you have the Saints, the Bucks, Panthers, Bears, Broncos, Texans, Titans, and Pats for me. I think he's going to end up going with the Panthers here. Not quite as many picks as the Texans, but a higher level of talent to start with. And I think the Panthers are where he ends up ultimately on this one.
Yeah, that's a good one. I think you might try to just run it back with the Lions here. That's kind of the best young team there for him. I think they're up and coming, got some picks still, and KJ being the Rams, that might be more enticing for a Lions owner. And I think he's actually going to take the Lions, even though he was just them last cycle.
Okay. So then that brings us to Paulie, and I could see Paulie being one of those guys that again decides to opt out after seeing the list because that Lions team with the KJ pick is obviously even more attractive than they were when he took them the first time. But again, I just don't think guys are going to be as interested in the SML if they're running it back a second time. So I think he's going to end up going somewhere else. And what a perfect pick here. But the Buccaneers, I think, fall to him. Obviously, we talked about not a lot of flexibility with the cap, but he gets Tom Brady in probably Tom Brady's last Madden, unless he's going to play Mutt. And the Buccaneers falling here is pretty fortunate for Paulie.
Yeah, I think that's a great pick for Paulie. I think he would like the Bucks. I think he's going to get looking at divisions. I don't think he wants to go, in someone that's a little too hard. So I think the Bucks, or in mine, the Falcons and the Saints are out. But I think he kind of looks at the NFC North and goes back there. But this time he's going to go with the Bears. And I think Paulie with Fields and the Bears could be an interesting team for him.
Yeah, right off the start, he can play to win because he doesn't have to worry about getting a quarterback. So that kind of jumpstart his cycle because we've only got maybe 5 seasons left. Then we've got Tiny, and if the division holds up with Mike as the Colts and Bean as the Jags, I think Tiny would actually take the Titans here. Obviously a Titans fan, and it's not like there's a ton of other options, so I've got him taking the Titans.
Yeah, that's my pick as well too. I think looking at the options in the divisions, I think Tiny goes to the Titans.
All right, so that brings us to Fig. Fig, another guy, talked about opting out of the draft because he's already got the Patriots, and if he's going to have a bad team, why not have the team you like, which makes perfect sense to me. But looking at the teams left, I think Fig would actually take the Bears. Gives him a quarterback. He doesn't have super speed with his wide receivers, but Mooney and Claypool both 93 and 92. So they've got decent enough speed. And I think just having Fields, he can trade him and kind of get a little jump start on that team. And I think that's what he would do. I think Fig likes the attention sometimes too. So having Fields and everybody trying to get him might be play right into Fig's hands.
Yeah, I think Fig is the wild card as well. I think he might actually just look at the best team here. And one thing Fig doesn't necessarily care about or put too much time into is team building. And so why not just go ahead and take the Broncos on a wild card here? Because he looks at the division and it's not super hard. I mean, Doink with the Chiefs is tough, but Fins, he knows how to play Fins, two-step. So I think he might actually go into the NFC West and just say, screw it, I'll just run with the Broncos for a few seasons until I can trade Wilson.
I could see that. I could definitely see that. So then we've got RD. RD not necessarily shy from picking teams that nobody would pick. But I think here, I don't think he would take the Broncos, but being a Raiders fan, I think that kind of hurts him. The Texans, he just had 2 seasons with the Texans, couldn't get any pass rush, couldn't get a quarterback. I don't think he wants to go there. I'm going to say he actually goes with the Patriots. I think he'll take Judon, the edge threat. The only I think Cam Jordan might have it too, but Judon will be there a little longer. I think he goes with the Patriots. He's got Ramondre Stevenson, who should have a nice dev bump, or not dev bump, but ratings bump. Good running game there, solid defense, and kind of shakes things up. And I think he could go with the Patriots.
Yeah, that's interesting. I could see that as well too. Although in mine, Prime and Faz are there, I don't think he wants to go back in a division kind of like that. I think he's going to look NFC South, and I think he's actually going to take the Saints because they got a running game and a nice defense. And I think with dumping me there, I think that'll be fun for him. So I got RD to the Saints.
All right, next up is Biz. I've actually got Biz taking the Texans here. If let's say Biz runs it back with the Bears. What's he going to want? He's going to want draft picks or something like that, right? Why not take the team that's already got the draft picks, and then you can kind of build with a clean slate there. No cap issues. Broncos haven't been picked yet in mine. Or not Broncos, I'm sorry. They have the Browns pick. Dump has the Browns pick, so it makes them maybe a little less attractive, but Biz's own pick, especially with the Texans, should be good enough to get him a quarterback. And then you have a couple pieces there in Stingley and Dameon Pierce. So I think maybe he goes with the Texans.
Yeah, no, I like that pick, and I'm going to go the same way with him. I think Biz kind of wants a clean slate. I think he wants to get a little bit away from the narrative of the running quarterback, and I think Mills gives him a chance just to have a kind of a normal quarterback in that sense, and he can do a lot of flexibility. He loves trading, and so I think that's a good fit for him.
All right, so then we have Noel and Monty left, and I'm gonna go with the shocker here. I think Noel takes the Broncos.
Wow. Okay.
And so I thought Noel would actually take the Broncos in the first team draft before we blipped coming into this cycle. You got Russell Wilson, superstar quarterback. I always thought Noel's thing that held him back was quarterback. When he had a superstar quarterback, he made the playoffs. When he didn't have one, he didn't make the playoffs. So Russell Wilson seemed like a good fit. Obviously, they've knocked Russell Wilson down a bit. But I think it was Bean earlier was saying that the ratings, they haven't really dropped that much for him. The ones that matter, like your accuracies and all that. So I think he's going to go with the Broncos. He gets Russell Wilson. He gets a really good receiving core. You got Albert O at tight end. You've got Surtain on defense. You have some defensive pieces. And then Javonte Williams as a running back. I think the Broncos actually aren't that bad if you don't mind that you have to stick with Russell Wilson.
Yeah, no, I think there's a case for the Broncos. It's unfortunately the cap is what's going to hurt them, and
yeah,
kind of the division too. But yeah, I can see that. I'm looking at this, and I think Noel's going to love the chance to be the Falcons. I think that gives him into a division where he's going to have some fun. It's the two options right now. Pats and versus Prime and Faz isn't too exciting, so I think he's there. And then I think that leaves Monty in the AFC East on my side, which would be hilarious. I would think that would be a blast to see him and Prime and Faz going at it twice a year.
Yeah, that would be a really fun thing to watch. I've got Monty getting the Saints. I think he's probably not too upset with that. He does have a good team. Another guy that seems to have a lot going on. I mean, we've seen him actually let guys walk and then re-sign him because he forgot to re-sign him during the year. So Saints, you don't have to worry about that because you don't have much of an off season. And then the Patriots, they're not the best, but we've seen Monty do pretty well on offense with just about anybody, and even Mac Jones is an upstep from Matt Corral, so it wouldn't be too bad for him. So it looks like, according to this, and we haven't had. Let me check real quick before I say anything, but I don't think we've had anyone else opt in. Nope, it's still Gramsfield, Coop, Gouda, KJ, and Colt, and we're just, I think everybody's kind of in agreement that there's no way two-step doesn't keep the Raiders.
Yeah.
So that's where we're at right now. Looking at this list, how many more do you think opt out?
Well, we're at 6 currently. Two-step would be 7. I think we're going to get another 8. I think we're going to be at 15.
Another 8. Okay. I was thinking we'll see. Well, what eight do you think? We'll start there. Who do you think opts out?
I'm going to go Noel, Biz, Tiny, Paulie, Meats, and Doink. Is that 8? I didn't keep
6.
track. That's 6. Okay.
We need 2 more.
So let's say Figs panics and Monty panics, and so we'll go 8.
Okay. I think Noel and Monty stay where they're at. I don't think they opt out. I'm looking at Biz with the Texans. I'm wondering if I think Biz would rather have the Texans with all those picks, or if he would have the Bears and then have to find a deal for Fields. I think if he finds a deal for Fields that he's pretty confident will be there, I think he could opt out and keep the Bears. If he doesn't have something locked in before he's got to lock in the Bears, I think he takes his chances. So I've got Biz. I'll say Biz is 1. I think he ends up keeping the Bears. I don't think RD locks in the Texans. I
Yeah.
don't think Fig locks in the Patriots. I think he's confident enough that they'll be there. We both have them last in
Yep.
him passing. Tiny, I don't think locks in with the Giants. I think he's okay with taking the Titans, especially if he thinks Prime is going to leave the AFC South. So I think he's okay taking his chances there, especially if he sees Noel, Monty, Biz, or I'm sorry, Noel, Monty, RD, and Fig all staying. Then he knows he's got at least 5 choices. So I think that's big. I think he stays. I think Paulie opts out. I think
Yeah.
as soon as we saw KJ opt out and keep the Rams, the Lions stock shot up, and I think Paulie's
Yep.
going to keep them. Um, Clink, I think, sticks with his guns. I think Dump does the same. Meats, I think, will opt out, so that's 4 or 3, and I think Doink ends up opting out, and I think that gives us 4 more in addition to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
7.
7. So I think we end up with 11.
11. All right, that'll be good. It'll be curious to see if people panic. That's the only thing I think could. I think yours is conservative. I think mine's a little optimistic. I think the panic of being the last pick is what's going to see what happens.
Yeah, I'll say I do agree with you though. If Monty and Noel, I think those two are that first domino. If
Yeah.
Monty and Noel stick with their what they said about they're gonna opt into the draft, then I think it stays low. As soon as
Yep.
those two flip flop, change their mind, I think we get probably north of where you're at. I think it just keeps climbing until we hit QP or QB. When we hit QB and the Broncos are off the board because he's stuck with them, everybody above him, then it may not play out that way. Meats may then not want to. So it just depends. I think Noel and Monty are the key. We have to keep an eye on them. I feel like this is like the election, and you're like, oh, this is the domino here. See how they fall. But that's how I feel like it is. It's Monty and Noel, and
Yep.
as soon as they're the key there. If they hold their ground, then it stays conservative. If they fold, it's going to go all the way up to damn near Coop. So
It would be hilarious if it goes all the way up to QB and he ends up having to eat the Broncos.
yeah, and very well could, because I don't see
RD will save him. RD will save him. I don't think RD goes Texans no matter what.
No, and I don't think Clink goes back to the Bucks.
Yeah.
But if the option is the Bucks or the Broncos, and the
Yep.
cap is the reason you want to leave the Bucks, it ain't getting any better with the Broncos. You might as well keep the Bucks, and you can
Yeah.
trade your way out of it.
Yep.
So, but yeah, that's been take 2. So we'll see what happens over the next 32 hours, whatever it is, till the draft or till. Well, I guess really the big question is going to be what happens in the next 9 hours. And
Yeah.
as soon as we get all the opt-outs, and then we can really kind of figure out what's going to happen. But thanks for being on, Dan, and hopefully we don't get a ton of opt-outs because I think that's going to – a lot of people are going to be burned out by season what we'll call 4 after they've just redone the first 2 seasons.
Yeah, I think people are going to definitely want to be playing different people as much as just not only their same team. It's just playing against different opponents is I think a key to this as well.
Yeah. The more people that opt out, you're going to be playing the same ones. So you're right. That'll be definitely something to watch. But thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for being on, Dan. This has been What If Take 2.